And I thank you all these big accomplished women sitting over here. It's my pleasure to be sharing the stage with you all. And in just a short span of time, I'm going to understand your stories, your trials and tribulations, how you've been able to fight this male-dominated world and come out as accomplished and as powerful women leaders so that the world is looking up and taking notice of. Thank you once again, Dr. Shweta Singh, Malika Sadani, Rubal Nagi, and Shelly Mehrotra for joining us on this We Women Want conclave. I'm going to start it off with Rubal. Rubal, you have accomplished so much, not just as an entrepreneur, but as a social activist, somebody who has worked painstakingly for the women of our country and the women of your region, Jammu and Kashmir. You spoke about Misal India, and then you took it out, the entire campaign, which was supported by some of the biggest Bollywood celebrities from Salman Khan and Sohail and Sonam Kapoor. And because of the good initiative that you put forth, it was about sanitation, Swachh Bharat, Swachh Mumbai, Dharavi is where you started it off. And you know, every single house where you went about beautifying it and utilizing your skills with the help of your foundation that you created. If you could talk to us, and then you replicated it in Kashmir as well, which is an important point I'm going to touch upon right after you give me a premise of how did this entire idea get, you know, in your head, and then you executed it all.
Namaskar, good afternoon everyone. Thank you for having me here, and the beautiful introduction that she gave. I think you spoke too much. Well, I would say that for me, Rubal Nagi Art Foundation started almost 11 and a half years back. Very simple idea, being an artist, being a sculptor, that how we can transform lives of people living in slums through art, through creativity. रंगों के माध्यम से हम कैसे लोगों से जुड़ सकते हैं, कैसे उनके जीवन में वो बदलाव ला सकते हैं, जिससे वो अपने बच्चों को उनकी शिक्षा पूरी करने के लिए प्रेरित करें. To educate people that why girls need to go to school, because now that we are working pan-India, over 600 slums pan-India, and you know, I've met lakhs of girls, I've met lakhs of women, lots of children, and कहीं ना कहीं आज भी हमारे देश में कुछ बच्चियां हैं जो बहुत बड़ी संख्या में हैं जो छूट जाती हैं, स्कूल नहीं पहुंच पाती हैं. So that is why we started Rubal Nagi Art Foundation. Coming from an army background, you know, when I traveled with my father across country, every 2 years he got posted to a new city, to a new village or to a new state. You know, I always saw some kids around while driving to school or college or to anywhere else that they would just play on the streets and not go to school. And in my brain, it always, being a child myself, it always bothered me कि ये बच्चे स्कूल क्यों नहीं जाते. So कहीं ना कहीं वो connection बच्चों के साथ मेरा बचपन से ही था. I came to Bombay almost 24 years back, and meeting some really senior people in social work, in philanthropists, I decided that, okay, let's start Rubal Nagi Art Foundation so that in real sense we can talk about quality education for children. So 11 years back, we started that. 2016, we launched Paint Dharavi, which was only beautification of the slum, that we don't want to see dirty slums, we don't want to see grey walls, we want colorful canvas across Dharavi. 2018, the initiative that she spoke about, Misal Mumbai, which in less than 1 year became Misal India, was launched in 2018. The main aim of Misal India was not to color the walls. That was Paint Dharavi. We started beautification. Misal India, Misal Mumbai, the main aim was that we want to take kids to school. In whichever area we put our hands in, 100% children go to school from that area. We spoke about hygiene, sanitation, toilet use. Even in big cities today, we have a lot of people who don't know how to use toilets. We spoke about using less plastic. We spoke about empowering our women. When we say that we want our women empowered, sitting in a room, I always say this, sitting in a room talking about empowerment really does not bring empowerment to our women in villages and slums. आत्मनिर्भरता सही मायने में हमारी महिलाओं को तभी मिलेगी जब उनको हम फाइनेंशियली इंडिपेंडेंट करेंगे. When they are self-reliant, when they have money in their bank is when I feel women are really empowered, women are really independent and they stand on their feet. So through our skill training centers, through our vocational training programs, we empower women, we generate employment. So the main two areas that we work on is quality education for children and skilling for women to generate employment, to actually make them self-reliant. Started from Mumbai, today we are working pan-India. Kashmir, I'm born in Jammu and Kashmir, but I guess more than 50% of my life I've lived in Mumbai, but home is home. And today we have over 400 women who are working with us from Kashmir. And I launched my book on 19th July at India International Center called The Slum Queen. And 12 of my girls from Kashmir were here. So when I was approached to reach to the smaller belts of Kashmir by the Indian Army, I actually went and I saw how capable these girls were. And मैंने हमेशा ये माना है कि आप एक गांव की एक लड़की को बदलेंगे तो पूरा गांव बदल जाएगा. So today one girl of mine has changed the entire village. She goes home to home getting women to come forward and work, and today I can proudly say that they are earning in lakhs. So they were also there at the book launch. जो लड़कियां हमारी कश्मीर की, because we work close to LC, not Srinagar, जो हमारी लड़कियां कभी श्रीनगर भी नहीं पहुंची, जब वो दिल्ली आई तो उनके लिए it was something, you know, that they said, ma'am, this is something we used to dream of. And today we are here meeting all the VVIPs and sitting in such a big crowd and coming up on the stage and talking about what we are doing was something like a big achievement. So inspiration, somewhere down the line, छोटी-छोटी चीज़ें करके भी आप लोगों को motivate कर सकते हैं. हम शायद उसको बहुत छोटा समझे, लेकिन उसके लिए that can be a life-changing experience. So that is how the Misal initiative went all across the country. And today, I would say we take almost 2 million kids to school, and we aim to take much more in next coming 2 years. So the whole team is working very hard for that, and everyone's blessing and hard work, I think we will be able to achieve that
I think
target.
that deserves a huge round of applause. Philanthropic work that you have been taking on painstakingly. There must have been challenges, but you've also gotten support, which is heartening to know. And kudos to you, your team, who have been going to the grassroots, who've been going to villages, small towns, and encouraging women, encouraging these little girls, giving them empowerment. And you're right, financial independence is something that is going to put women at the same podium as men in our society are, and that's where the change starts.
Well, nothing comes without challenges and hard work. If you see a small documentary that we've made, we've worked actually at different seasons in Rajasthan, in Telangana, in Kashmir, where in summers, you know, you have these kiddies flying और light पे आ जाती है, तो अंधेरा करके खाना खाना 42 degrees में खड़े होके पूरी टीम ने काम किया है गांव में. But I think that is not something which stops us from going forward. Like I say, if you've chosen to be a social worker, an activist, then be ready for the challenges. नहीं तो अपने comfortable AC के room में बैठ के relax करो. But if you've chosen this line, this is the line of seva for people. It has to be selfless, and you have to give not your 100%, but 1000%, because your work is attached to people's feelings. So that is why it's very
absolutely credible, fabulous job, and kudos to you, your team, like I said. Let me also introduce the other panelists one by one. They are all entrepreneurs, and they have been extremely successful in their businesses, in their entrepreneurship, talents that they've utilized. Let me get Shelly Mehrotra. She is the founder for Fixed Dama, and she's been given a lot of awards, a lot of accolades. Woman Entrepreneur of the Year, MSME Excellence Awards 2022, ET Inspiring Woman Leader 2022. So that's a heavyweight profile. And how does it feel to finally reach the position that you dreamt of, aspired for? You have your own company, right from marketing to managing your staff, your team, motivating them, and then coming to the forefront and telling that women can do it and women can do it better.
So that was very kind, actually. If I look back, it's like, hard to believe. So the journey started in 2008. My son was just 3 years old. And Fix Derma, as the name denotes, is like fixing your derm. So we fix your skin. And the whole idea was taking care of all your skin woes, any kind of skin problems. So we don't believe in making women prettier or fairer, but we look after your skin health. So from there, it started in 2008, and we have 4 verticals. We export, as you mentioned, to 35 countries, and we are also present on e-commerce, all marketplaces, and we have a huge team, sales team, pan-India. We are right now in 13 states, and we sell through Dermats. And of course, we are also doing private label for some companies. Yes, but it was definitely a challenging challenge. It was quite challenging.
Yeah. So, what if I could ask you to pinpoint, what were those specific instances in your life, in your personal life, that compelled you to reach the position that you're at?
See, somehow, I don't know whether you'll believe, I never felt discriminated, like, ever. Like, being a female, and I started in 2008, and I've been to many government, departments and agencies. But maybe I was just lucky. I found good people. I still remember once I always tell my people about it. So I went to this DGCI office for, my shipment was stuck. And you won't believe I cried there because I was very young, and they were just not releasing my shipment. And so the Deputy General, he called me inside because he heard that there's a lady who's standing outside and she's crying. So he said, come inside. And then he explained me to have a good team. He said, build a good team. And because you don't know how to release your shipment, you don't know what the problems are, so just build a good team, get good people. I think that's how, you meet good people in your journey, and that's how you learn, and you keep marching ahead.
Okay.
And
keep marching ahead, and yes.
Yeah, one more thing I always tell people, an entrepreneur, be it's a male or a female, it's like, a roly-poly toy. You keep punching and they keep coming back. So we are like that. So
That's an interesting analogy. I also have Malika Sadhani with me. She is the founder of the Moms Company. 2017 is when you launched your company. Now, you yourself are a mother of 2. You were a banker, then decided to get into the business side of things. How has this journey been for you?
So thank you for having me. I think the journey has been just absolutely excellent. Just absolutely excellent. I had no plans of becoming an entrepreneur at all. I was very happy in my banking job. I was an investment banker. Life was very comfortable. Work was great. And then I think there was a life-changing moment where my daughters were born. And both my daughters had skin conditions. And that's where my quest for finding good quality natural products started. I got quite disappointed actually when I couldn't find anything. And that's when this little spark came in saying that should I try and solve for something which is bigger and probably more recognized with a lot of other people as well. And that's when I sort of had left my job. I started digging deeper to figure out whether we could do this. To be very honest, I never thought it would actually reach the heights that it has. We have been the largest D2C exit that has happened so far in the country so far, right? And it's led by a women entrepreneur. There's been nobody else who's got that kind of an exit as we got. But I think the one thing that kept me motivated was that there was a real problem that I had identified, and I was very passionate on solving for it because I just felt that moms across had a particular concern that was not getting solved for. People were tired of using the age-old brands, and there wasn't anybody listening to start catering for that problem that everybody had. And that's when I kind of started to do that. And, as they say that if you know what you want to do, and if you stay true to what you really started to build up for, puri kainat aapke saath aa jati hai to try and solve it for you. And that's exactly what happened, right? I just kept getting more and more people, and I think someone just touched upon saying build a really nice team. So that's what I focused on. I focused on creating the best product that existed in the country at that point of time, and constantly building a really sharp team so that we could keep solving for more and more concerns that people faced in the country.
Right. And there must have definitely been challenges galore. But your biggest support system, what also kept you motivated to go on? Was it your daughters? Was it your husband who decided to, say that, listen, you go ahead handle this, open up your business if you want to, and I'm going to be your support system. I'm going to help you raise the kids, and you go all out.
So, there are two kinds of support systems that you have if you have to really make it in life. One is, of course, your family support system, which then starts taking care of your kids, because there are moments and lots of moments when you'll not be around. And it's not just family, but it's the school and the teachers in the school and everybody that just comes together to sort of raise children for you if you're trying to do something. And the other very important part of doing it, right? Like when things at home are taken care of, it's very important for us to recognize that there will be lots and lots of times when you will also need help at work. Whatever, and if you go down the path of becoming an entrepreneur, you will always have newer challenges that are thrown at you at any given point of time. So figuring out a support system by having very strong mentors around you who can constantly guide you and tell you what could be the next challenge that you could face, let's say 3 months down the line, so you start preparing for it, is also extremely important. So I think build support systems in two separate spheres, one professionally for you and one personally, and that will kind of help you grow forward always.
Interesting. I also have with me Dr. Shweta Singh. She's the founder for Ennoble IP. Shweta, tell me about the world of IPR. And you've studied from Geneva in Switzerland, and your company is dealing with startups, with MSMEs. And how has this male-centric world been for you as an entrepreneur who's now established herself in the market?
Thank you so much for having me here. And it's easy to say that I studied from there, but it's very hard to believe from where I came from. So I belong to a very small town. In fact, when I came to Delhi, I had to say that I belong to Varanasi because people know Varanasi but didn't know my town. It took me 4, 5, 6 years to say that I belong to this town. And believe me, I said to myself, it's their geography week, not mine. I belong to Jaunpur. It's a very small town. I hail from a community where girls are not allowed to study, from Rajput community. Now, things has changed. But yes, I hail from a community where we are not allowed. We are 3 sisters and basically told, my mother was told, very orthodox family. So yes, that get them a basic education, save the money for their marriages, because that is very important. So yes, it was very difficult because all my uncles have sons, and my dad was only, my family was only that we are having 3 sisters, we are only 3 daughters. So it was difficult, challenges came out many times, but at my time, because I belong in early 80s, I was born in early 80s, so the career options was only 2, either be an engineer or be a doctor if you want to study. Right. And I was also told by that only. But things doesn't happen. So this is for every woman or every young person that believe me, what exactly you want, you have to try for that. It's not that your parents or society is going to drive you what you want to be. It's you who is going to drive. So I exactly talked to myself. I tried for medical because I was not meant for medical. I didn't clear that. It was not like I was weak somewhere at my point of time. But no, that was not my destiny. And then, while studying, doing my graduation, patents was one of the subjects. And since childhood, I was very technology-prone person. So I thought, why not to try in technological field, but engineering is something in one domain I would go. But believe me, when I studied about patents, when I studied about IP, I thought this is one of the major career I want to have, because intellectual property means you are connected to every technical domain. I did my graduation, post-graduation from biotech, but went, did my patent law, came back and did all sort of projects from computer science, from mechanical, from electronics, from biotech, and that was the fun of my career.
No, that's a fantastic professional qualification profile that you have, but also talk to us about, there's a new startup that you've just launched, and we'd be very interested to know, and you've done it you've gone it all alone, and you've done it with your own hard work and determination.
See, all alone, I think all of us have done it all alone only, because I believe, and I have seen people that no one is going to support you until you support yourself. And this is what, if I have built the trusted network around myself, that's just because I believed myself that I have to do. And I am very rebellion. My husband is here, he knows that whatever comes, he says, no, I think you should not do this. I say, I have to jump into it. So talking about my recent startup, that was also well planned 4 years back, that I want to build a community only for women. There are Facebook communities, there are small web communities, pages, but I want to come along with something which is tech-based. So I launched Sherial, which is a Web3 platforms integrating NFTs, metaverse, and in fact the fantasy games for women, which is actually not only for women area.
Okay, that's fantastic. That's breaking a glass ceiling again, and catering to women and not catering to the male-dominated society, traditionally, so to say. I'm going to quickly come back to Rubal. Rubal, you've heard these stories, these success stories. There have been a lot of challenges, a lot of hard work that has gone in, determination, courage is something, and I think the common theme that links all of us over here is about that self-determination of what you are capable of, and then seeking the support out from the world in the dream that you want to nurture and build. You have been an intrinsic part when it comes to women empowerment, going to the world, going to these small towns and villages, and you've brilliantly encapsulated your story. How can women leaders like you more and more be encouraged to use their platforms, all of you, use the position that you've reached at, to allow for more of these youth, girls particularly, to be brought from the holes that they're living in, with the challenges that they face, the financial troubles that they have been facing, or not the enough kind of space to grow because of the kind of taboos that their families have imposed. And it might not be the mistake of the family, it might be because it's some generations together that has been the mindset.
See, basically, women in India, especially in the villages, in the rural India, and even slums in the bigger cities, all the big cities have huge number of slums. In fact, a couple of years back, there was an interview of mine in Dainik Jagran which said, Rubal Nagi ko Slumdog Millionaire pasand nahi aayi. Seriously, mujhe pasand nahi aayi. Because is that the only thing we have of Mumbai to show? I said, I understand the movie won a lot of Oscars, did extremely well. I think it's a great movie, but not the way it portrayed India. So that is something which I didn't like. I work in the slums and I say, there are people living there. There are people. It's not a zoo where you go and you try to be mischievous there with animals, which also I completely don't like. And nobody should do it. But here, when some people say, ma'am, slum में लोग रहते हैं, कैसे रहते होंगे, क्या होता होगा वहाँ पे? I'm like, जैसे आप अपने apartments में और अपने bungalows में रहते हैं, उनके लिए वही उनका apartment और वही बंगला है. Not that everyone wants to live in that 10 by 10, 8 by 8, 5, 6 members of that house living in that. But trust me, when evening we all get together, we forget where we are. We just have a great time, and women sitting together, narrating their stories, good and bad, both. We laugh together, we cry together, we share emotions together, and then we thrive to come out of that situation. कि हमारी ये generation यहाँ पे है, हमारे आगे आने वाली generation इस 8 by 8 के कमरे में नहीं रहेगी. So that is what we do. So there is something called emotional attachment that you have with people who are either in remote villages or in slums or anywhere they are living. They are humans, they should be treated like humans. Like a lot of people said, ma'am, you're kind of giving permanent name to slums. I don't want to name them. So I said, what do you mean by permanent name to slums? Develop it, build homes for them. Everyone wants a home with a toilet. Would we like to, or anyone like to walk few miles away to go use a community toilet? A pregnant woman, a small child, an old lady, we call them I, going all the way there and using the toilets. Would anyone like it? Nobody likes it. So if you want this part of the city, then develop it, give them homes with toilets, and then you build yours and make your money also. But if you're not going to do that, this will not happen
Yeah,
either.
that's complete apathy, and then you look down upon
there
the
is,
slums.
There is
It
somewhere
doesn't-
you need
yes.
to have that equality. Like you said, creative, courageous. Our tagline is be creatively courageous. That's Misal India. And we always believe in equality, not charity. We are nobody to do charity on anyone. God has given the opportunity to us to serve people. Let's give our best to do it. Whether you do it on this level or you do it on this level, it all starts from us. Like I say, till women respect themselves, nobody is going to respect them. At the book launch, I said, घर में जब बेटी पैदा होती है, तो माँ बाप सोचते, अरे बेटी पैदा हो गई. बेटा पैदा होता है तो पूरे गांव में, पूरे शहर में, पूरे नेबरहुड में और इंस्टाग्राम स्टोरीज बड़ी बड़ी करके लगती थी कुछ साल पहले कि हमारे घर में बेटा हुआ है. बेटी होती है तो cities again I see a huge change now, but in villages again somewhere down the line, because we have over few lakhs of women today and I tell them क्या हो गया, बुरा लग रहा है, बेटी हो गई. हाँ मैम, अभी सास ये बोलेगी, माँ भी ये बोलेगी.
And that's,
so it's
appalling, because not just in villages and small towns but in big cities as well.
जब तक मैं बेटे की माँ हूँ, I'm
Yeah.
okay. But the minute my bahu will come, I'll be like, okay, you better have a son.
Yeah, absolutely.
You don't have a daughter.
We could continue with this conversation the whole day, and I would like to do that.
That needs
but
to change with all the women sitting here first.
All right. I thank you all. Thank you, Rubil, and thank you, Shweta. Thank you, Malika, and thank you, Shelley, for joining me on this very, very enlightening conversation. And it's an opportunity that I've had and I've enjoyed thoroughly for getting inspired by these strong women of courage and of power, and they're actually utilizing their podiums, their platforms to encourage more and more of these women, more of these girls to be more empowered. Thank you all for being on NewsX.
Thank you.
For more such videos, subscribe to the NewsX YouTube channel, hit the bell icon.